Okay, welcome back. This is episode 3, and today we're actually going to take the system and we're going to set up a live move, and we're going to go over the graph, and we're kind of explain things out a little bit so you have a better idea of what you can do with the motion control within the system and set up your first move and get you going. Okay, so everybody, we're going to go ahead and just play around with the robot. We're going to show you how to set up some moves in KOS. And what we're not going to do is go anything too crazy, but I am going to get into the detail and kind of show you how to manipulate and massage the moves into making them into something that's going to be what you want. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and pull my slider all the way out to the side here. And then I'm going to go click on pan. And I'm going to set that on analog mode. I just like using analog mode a little bit more for the pan axis. The big difference between analog mode is the further over, the faster you go, and then it snaps back in the center. However, without analog mode, this is basically the range of position that you can be, so you just select specifically where you want to be. So right now, I feel pretty good about where I'm at with where the position of the camera. So I'm going to go up in the graph and I'm going to do a right click and I'm going to do add keyframe to all axis, and you'll see they all pop up in here. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we got blue, orange, green, yellow, and red to match the different tiles for the different axis. So now that I have that set, I'm going to go to the slider and I'm going to go down to the other side, and we're just going to pan it. And this is set up for virtual production, but it's currently not connected for that. We're just playing around, people. So let me move that back down. I want to go to pan. We're going to go ahead and bring that over. Oops. That's why I like analog mode. All right. Now I'm going to do a right click and I'm going to go add keyframe to all axis. And you also can do it on a selected axis. And as you see here, I have pan selected. So if I do on a selected axis, it will only do it to pan. So we're just going to do on all axis. And here we are. We have our glorious, beautiful movement. And if I go to the move time, it'll tell me what the minimum amount of time is. It'll show from the fastest to the slowest, and the slowest is a slider, and it needs at least 5 seconds to do that. So what we're going to do is give it 8. And then hit OK. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit load. And what we're going to see is this is going to rewind to the beginning position. Nice and fast. It'll run a lot faster when it's doing the move, though. And I think that can actually be set in here with like the return to speed or whatnot. In fact, I think if we go to live motion, well, we're going to go to stop and go to live motion. Okay, rapid reverse to keyframe. So hopefully that'll make it move a little bit quicker next time. So we're going to do load, and then we're going to hit go. You get a little bit of a countdown, and then here we go. Absolutely stunning cinematic shot of peppers in a mushroom cave. Now let's say I found that I was unhappy with where the focus landed on this. I'm going to hit stop, and I'm going to go to scrub. And with scrub enabled, I can put the slider anywhere I want. So I'm going to put it in the middle, and we're going to see the motion control is going to go back out to that same spot. And let's say I feel that I need to pull my focus back a little bit, because we're a little bit closer to the plant than when we're on the sides. We're pushing the focus, pulling it in. So I'm going to go ahead and get that where I want it, and then I'm going to go ahead and do right click, and I'm going to do add keyframe to selected axis. And now if I go to focus, I can even go to, nope, that's not what I want. Where is it? Display selected axis only. You can see this nice gradual movement helping me with my focus. So I can do load. Yes. Okay, so it went all the way over there. Let's just go ahead and bring this back to the beginning. And we're going to run this movement again. Okay, load. I'm going to start from the beginning and hit go. And now with this, I do now see that the focus motor is making some adjustments while we go. It's just very slight. So I feel pretty good about that. So let's go ahead and scrub and let's bring it back to the beginning. Let's make a little bit of a modification here. Oh, let me do display all axis. Apparently, if you have it set to only display one axis and you're moving it with scrub, it only moves that one axis. So we're going to go back over, and what we're going to do is we are going to make sure we have tilt set, and I'm going to go to tilt. And I'm going to go to delete this keyframe. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take tilt and I'm going to move it down. And then I'm going to do add to selected axis. And then I'm not going to use scrub. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide over, and then I'm going to do add keyframe to selected axis again. You see, it gives me a long dead period where it's not doing anything. And then all of a sudden it starts to come up and bring that pan up. But I'm going to go to scrub because I want to make this a little bit more pronounced. Oops. Bring this over. So what I'm trying to do here is just to give it some time where it's nice and steady, and then it start to bring it up. But I want to increase this movement. So I'm going to go in and go to delete keyframe, and I'm going to go ahead and go to the tilt. We're going to raise this up. Well, I guess it is actually a pretty good spot right there. So we're going to go ahead and say add keyframe to selected axis. And here we go. We got our nice movement here. So we're going to go ahead and go to load, start from the beginning. And it looks like that adjustment I did make a difference. It's moving a lot quicker on the return, so that's kind of nice. Anything to save time. And now we're going to go to load and go. And what you're going to see is it's going to move along. It's going to be aimed down. And then it's going to start coming up. But you know what? I feel that was really rough. Okay? So I don't like how harsh it kicked in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to scrub, or take scrub off. I am going to move the playhead to this axis. Go to graph options. And I'm going to make sure that I have cusp handles selected. Okay. Now what this is going to do is this going to give me some handles here that I can use to change and manipulate the path that we're seeing here. So this one I'm just going to keep that straight. But this one, what I want to do is I'm going to extend that way out in order to kind of feather it into that movement. So we're going to go ahead and go to load. And now it's not going to be quite so abrupt and gruff when it kicks into that lift. So we're going to go ahead and go back, and we're going to go ahead and hit go. And here we go. And that was much smoother. It was much nicer. I like that a lot better. So I feel pretty good about that. So these handles are very useful. And in fact, you can do strange things with them. Like say I want to make this come down and make this come up. So we're going to get a nice little swoop. But what I believe what we're going to see is it is going to look down even further, then it's going to come, or it's going to start looking up, then it's going to look way down, and then it's going to come and look even farther up. So I'm going to go to load. And we're going to go. So that's right, up, down, and now up. So you can see that these handles can be a really powerful thing when you need to just lightly tweak and shape what your movement is going to be. And also you can put this slider the slider here for the timeline anywhere in here and set additional keyframes for wherever you want things are at. You're not just limited to the beginning and end. And you don't have to start at the beginning and end at the end. You can start at the beginning and work your way through, adding keyframes as you go along and explore a path where you want to be at the final position. Another thing that's really kind of handy to use is if you go to live motion, you can go to loop move. And what that is going to do is that is going to repeat this move front to back over and over and over. So let's go ahead and line that up. All right, now we're going to hit go. And what we're going to see is it's going to ping pong over and over. Now it's going to repeat the move in reverse. So this is kind of what you're going to do if you have like setting something up like a B camera, just get like some interview shots where you want to introduce a little bit of motion. My recommendation is just keep it nice and slow. This is pretty exaggerated for what we're doing. I'm going to go ahead and stop that. There's other things you can do to adjust this move. So I'm going to bring this over and I'm going to put it on my keyframe. And if I do a right click, I also have this ability to change the position of it with going up and down to change the location on the graph. And you see the camera moves too. Or I can also do left and right in order to slide that keyframe over a little bit. And you might want to do that, especially if you have a middle keyframe with all of the axis. You might find that it's useful to be able to move one of them back so you can glide into a movement. Not all the motors are engaging at the exact same moment, so that makes it just kind of a little bit smoother of an action. So if you're not able to get these cusps, and all you have to do is double click on the axis. You remember you got to come into graph options and make sure you have cusp handles hit. If you have lock handles done, then you can't do anything. So I encourage you to play with the graph options here. Personally, I like cusp handles. I feel it gives me the best range of movement. If you want to feather a move in, you just bring it out. If you want to make it more abrupt, you bring it right back in. And then you can also sit there and create different kind of wave patterns and things that will work and that can nudge you to make sure that you are getting in the correct position when you're shooting. Anyway, I hope this is kind of helpful, at least getting you set up and figuring out how to do this. Just remember the cusps are extremely useful to use. Anytime you need to access one of these keyframes, just make sure you're on the right keyframe or the right axis, and then you can go on and do a right click. And you can move things around. You can shift the location of the keyframe, the position of the motor, and all of that, just to make sure you can really tweak everything and get them all right into the right spot. So thanks for watching. I got more tutorials on the way. Looking forward to getting as many of these done as I can. If anybody has any requests on what they'd like me to do, please let me know. I plan to do another one on time-lapse, events, gigapixel, multi-lapse, stop motion, and we already got one from our Unreal Engine. So if anybody has any questions or anything I missed, please reach out and let me know.